In this video, I'm going to talk about sleeve terminology, meaning how to identify the various parts of the basic sleeve pattern. This is a commercial pattern from the Butterick Company. We usually copy these and then do all of our pattern manipulations on the paper pattern that we have copied. But first, let's take a look at how this flat pattern translates into 3D and what it looks like in 3D on a model. Before we look at the sleeve mock-up and how it fits on the arm, let's look at the muscles, how the arm attaches to the torso. There's a natural hollow here in the front where the muscles of the arm attach to the torso. Turn your back to me. And then there's a natural slight rounded of the shoulder, and there are more muscles here in the back that attach to the shoulder blade area. You'll notice that the arm doesn't hang straight down the side of the body, but at the elbow bends slightly forward. In the paper pattern, we'll see that those elbow darts are what help create that shape in the pattern. Go ahead and bend your arm. Yeah. The elbow darts allow this movement to happen. And relax. So let's see how that all translates into the muslin mock-up. So here we have the sleeve mock-up on the arm. Turn your back to me. Starting here, we have the straight of grain running down the straight here. Because of the elbow darts that have been introduced that torque or pull this shaping here, you can see the straight of grain is in the center of the sleeve above the elbow line, but then hangs to the back. This line is the true center of the sleeve, and we'll talk about that in the flat. This is the bicep line, this is the elbow line, here is the wrist. This part of the sleeve is called the sleeve cap. It's capping the upper arm. Up here at the top is a shoulder notch that runs into the shoulder seam on the shirt or the bodice, whatever you're attaching the sleeve to. And then in the front, about 3 inches up from the side seam, is the front notch, is designated with 1 notch, and in the back notch is designated with 2 notches, and we'll see that in the paper pattern. These wrist notches and where they correspond on the hand, these notches are important in the development of paper patterns for cuffs, and we'll discuss that in further videos and later today. So now that we've seen what it looks like on the model, let's analyze this sleeve block a little more closely. As I showed you, the grain line that runs down the sleeve pattern springs from the shoulder notch. There's 1 notch in the front, and there are 2 notches in the back, and those are, depending on the size of the pattern, those are about 3 or 3.5 inches up from the side seams. And so when this is stitched into the paper mock-up, the side seams are stitched together. Then we have the front notch, then we come around to the shoulder notch, to the back notch, and again returning to the side seam. So that's how that works together there. This is that upper portion, it's called the sleeve cap. This is the bicep line. This is the upper part of the arm, and here are those darts that shape and cup around the elbow, and here is the elbow line. Down here is the back notch that corresponds to this back notch. The shoulder notch at the top runs down and angles because of the shaping of the dart, runs down the center of the forearm piece to the shoulder notch down below that corresponds to the top of the hand. The back notch corresponds to the side of the hand where the pinky springs from. And then the front notch here corresponds to the front notch down at the wrist, and that corresponds to the top of the thumb right here. And then we have our side seams. Remember that the grain line springs from the shoulder down to the elbow, but because of the shaping here, the grain line continues this way, but the center line, the center between the two side seams from the elbow down, the center line goes this way.